We need to, as a society, get back to leaning on the support systems around us to help us get through these challenges.
Welcome to Your Journey to Joy podcast. I'm your host, Moyra Gorski, and I'm on a mission to help you find joy in the chaos of life. As a retired nurse, multi-passionate entrepreneur, and mom of 4 adult children, I know what it's like to feel the overwhelm of it all and wonder if and when the joy will show up again. And I've learned it's up to us to go find that joy. On this show, you will hear inspiring stories from those who have overcome all kinds of life challenges, tips on how to stay healthy and vibrant during the ups and downs of life, and simple ways on finding joy in your own life. Let's face it, life is messy, yet when we travel together on this journey, support and encourage each other along the way, that joy starts to show up again. I'm so excited to lead you on this journey of you to find the joyful life that you deserve. Well, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Moyra Gorski, and it has been a while, I must say, that I have been sitting here and interviewing somebody, not a whole long time, but the fact is if you've been following me, I have moved. I packed up my house of 25 years with my husband and my daughter, and we moved out west, just 20 minutes from where we lived before. But boy, that was a lot of work. And so I've been posting some episodes that are kind of repeats that I've done in the past. I did some Olympic stuff, but I'm settled here now in my new home, and I connected with one of my girlfriends who I have been wanting to have on my podcast. So we're sitting down today and we're having a chat about some really great things. So let me tell you that Deirdre Adams is joining us today. She is somebody that I met through a program that I've been involved with for the last, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years, maybe it's been, but I'm just going to be, which she knows I'm very honest. But, when I first met her, she was kind of like, I'm like, wow, she's like a lot, she's very, in that, confident, powerful, beautiful, like it's just, and she's she has a couple different, she has a job and a business, and she's in the industry that I'm in. And I was impressed and a little bit like, wow, she's a really powerful woman. And then we were paired up. If you remember this, Deirdre, we were paired up and we had to go for a walk together and get to know each other. So there I was getting to know her, and I just loved that. And I loved continuing to get to know her because she's just somebody that's filled with joy and passion about life. And she created a brand called Love How Good You Feel. And she's just a great gal. So today we're going to talk about what Deirdre has created in the way of some books, but really more like what those books are all about when we talk about, well, we're just going to get into it. So Deirdre, thank you for joining me. I'm so thrilled that you're here with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. And I remember the day that we did that walk. And I have to say, I admired you from afar as well. And it's so fun when you really break down and peel the onion back and realize who people really are. We have so much in common. And I knew it immediately when we walked that day. I knew it. We would be forever friends. I knew that.
Yeah. So great. So great. So today, again, I wanted to talk about, I've been watching you, and you've developed these books and you've published these books, and there are books about this little dog named Rocky. And I really, as I was kind of looking at it and planning for today, I thought it was kind of all about bullying, but it's not really about bullying. It's about fear. It's about anxiety. It's about all kinds of different things, and kind of this really cool adventure, if you will, that Rocky goes on. But I just want to kind of back up before we talk about your books, or just kind of start with a little bit about you and why because again, you're in the clothing industry, you're in the health and wellness industries, and you decided to write some books about dog and the dog's adventure. So tell us a little bit about, I always start with my guests, start with the story. How did that all kind of come about?
So here's my story in a nutshell. I've worked in fashion in Manhattan for 40 years. Okay. Long time. And, 5-hour commute round trip. It's a trek, right? So it's a grind, and I love it. I love the energy. I love the passion behind it. But I would spend my weekends at our beach house. And I love that. I love coming over the bridge, and it was just instant emotional calming. And I have a little dog who has a lot of fears. And the dog is afraid of everything, which is just ridiculous. I don't know what she's afraid of, but a plane will go overhead or a thunder will happen or whatever it may be. The dog gets terrified. So I do not have children of my own, but I've always loved being around children, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So I decided to write a book. I don't even know where it came from because I wasn't an author, Moyra. It was so strange. But I said, I'm going to write a book about a dog overcoming fears and leaning on characters on the beach. So a seagull, a starfish, a crab. Teach her lessons to overcome fears, because life may appear very scary to children at first. And then when you really step back and realize gratitude, and the starfish teaches her about gratitude and all the things. So it began a journey of the law of attraction for me for children. I've always been a believer in the law of attraction, but I never really communicated it well to other people. It was something very personal to me. And I thought, wow, wouldn't this be a great way? And Rocky could become the vessel to communicate that. So I noticed as the world shut down, people had a lot of fears, and then anxiety kicked in, right? People were worried about everything. Change was happening so fast. It really overwhelmed people. And children. So the second book it was called Don't Worry, Rocky. And it was about overcoming anxiety, because worry is what you think about in the future. Fear is what's happening right now. So you react immediately. But worry is something that can really become daunting because you can't get it out of your head and you continue to worry. So the second book became very successful with children. She began to develop a fan club. And I noticed that not only children, but the parents love the books and the grandparents love the books because they're simple lessons, right? It's all about appreciate what you have. Don't worry about the future. Live in the moment, right? And understand gratitude and all the things. And then I started seeing things happening around in my work, in my friends with their children about bullying. Bullying then became this big topic over the past year. And it's always been a big deal, but it just felt like kids were going back to school. Things were happening with, wearing masks or not wearing masks. There's a lot of bullying happening. I have family members that were personally bullied as children. I never was, so I didn't really understand it. But as I began to research, I partnered with an organization called Kid Power. And Kid Power is not just for kids. It's for adults, right? So they help build skills to overcome bullying. So the book came out, Don't Be Bullied, Rocky, and it became an instant success. It was #1 bestseller on Amazon. It was on 400 and plus news outlets. Like, it just got picked up everywhere. So bullying's a big topic today. So I started digging in more about bullying, and I started learning more about it. And, there's a lot to be said about the resources and tools that are available that people are completely unaware of, because bullying is a very intimate, personal emotion when you get bullied. That's what I've learned, that people just really kind of step back and suffer in silence about bullying.
Yeah.
Whether, can come in many ways, but people usually don't say, hey, I'm being bullied, right?
Right.
There's a stigma with that.
Right. Well, and they would say, I'm more afraid of this, or I have anxiety. Like, I did a call with another team earlier this week with my wellness business, and we talked about doing in-home events and things like that. And that was one of her things. She goes, okay, a lot of people have anxiety these days. So how do we overcome the anxiety if we want to have people together? And so, I get that I think these things were prevalent before, of course, but when this pandemic hit and being closed down and being like in this world of unknown has created many people, if you will, it's created anxiety and fear in a lot of people. And like all of a sudden the pandemic's over, right? But that fear and anxiety did not go away. And that bullying, for sure, I think has just reared its ugly head in not only children, but in other, adults and political arenas and, things like that.
Sure,
but,
absolutely. Bullying really is, it's a problem with yourself. And that's why you bully, because you're disgusted with yourself, or you're not happy with yourself, or you're anxious about your own life. So you take it out on other people, right? So bullying definitely has become more common today, I think. And speaking to many professionals, I have a friend who's in the mental health field, and she said, oh my gosh, bullying is everything today. And you're exactly right. There's a lot of political challenges today. There's post-pandemic, people going back into the workforce, going back into the office where they haven't been in the office. They've been on Zoom calls, right, for a couple of years. And now they're having to have social conversation at the water cooler. And there's a lot of challenges with people not liking their coworkers or, wanted to take advantage of a situation and really putting themselves forward. So yes, bullying is rearing its ugly head in a very strong way these days. And have you ever seen people with so much anxiety today?
No, that's the thing. Like I said, I've spoken on lots of team calls and nobody at the end of said, hey, that's great. But what do we do about all the people with anxiety? I'm like, right. It's so, but I get it. I have a daughter. And again, if people have followed my podcast, I have a daughter that went through 9 years of a terrible eating disorder with anxiety and OCD and just being wrapped up in fear. So I get it. But, and again, I've done episodes here about these young adults that are stuck, they're stuck in their life. And it's because of fear and anxiety. And because we were forced to be in our homes and we couldn't talk to anybody we could, but you know what I mean? It's and then it's all of a sudden they lost it. They didn't know how to communicate. They don't know how to pick up the phone. And then the phones came and then everybody's just wrapped up in their phone and they just don't know how to have put the phone down and have a normal conversation. And again, what are we all afraid about? What are we all anxious about? But the fact is there's a lot of stuff and it's, I think it really, again, we'll get back to it, but this is just what's coming up for me. It's just what I've learned and what I talk to my clients about and my friends is we just have to create these tools. And maybe, I'd love to, again, hear more about how those books, Rocky finds the things, but, how we have to have our own tools and our tools in our tool belt to deal with the anxiety of life, the bullies. I used to tell my kids when they were growing up, I was in this one particular kid, Troy, he was such a bully. He was such a meanie. But I said, you know what? I think he's just, again, he's insecure. He's unhappy. As I got to know his mother through a play group and then their family life, he was not happy. There was a lot of turmoil. And as a result of that, he lashed out and he was mean to other people because he wasn't very happy about himself. And if he could make somebody else feel bad, that's what I always said. If he can make you feel bad, then he probably feels a little better, even though that's so wackadoo, turned
it's
around.
It's very true though. And some of the simple lessons in the book, for the first one, don't be afraid. It's really be grateful for where you are. So Rocky's afraid of loud sounds in the first one, right? So bangs and booms. She meets a starfish who has teeny tiny ears, cannot hear at all. So be grateful that you can hear. So sometimes you just have to flip it around and say, you know what, I could be afraid of this. However, I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to experience it, right? Yeah. So it's very simple concepts, but it really helps kids stand back and adults as well and just say, you know what, I actually practice gratitude a lot because sometimes I'll get wrapped up in the madness of the world and the schedules and the commute and all the things. And I sometimes sat back and I thought, you know what? I'm really grateful for what I have. And when you look at it like that, you immediately decompress your nervous system. You start appreciating things around you. It's so easy to complain about things, and we all do it, right? But when you step back and you really take note of what you have and be grateful for that, it immediately changes your mindset. Mm-hmm. The second one was really about worry and anxiety, and gratitude came into that a lot as well. But it came really into just being in the moment and don't worry about what's about to happen. Enjoy where you are. Enjoy it, right? You have to live every moment. How many times do we say that to each other? Oh my gosh, live life right now, right? Live it to the best you can. So, it's kind of a lot of that. And then you're so right about the bully. The bully book, gosh, Rocky has to really overcome her fear and anxiety of this bully. It's a shark. And look at the bully and say, hey, there's good in there. There is good in there. And why is he acting this way? Empathize with that and then try to become a friend. And realize that the bully is acting out not just to hurt Rocky, but because they have problems themselves. So sometimes a bully will take it so personally that, oh my gosh, they don't like me. It's really not that. It's they don't like themselves,
Right.
right?
Right.
So getting coping skills and learning how, to deal with that. But overriding theme in all the books, and this is for adults too, is to reach out and find support. Because if you suffer in silence, you will never, ever overcome your challenges. You have to reach out. And during the whole pandemic time period, we all were stuck in a house. We didn't really socialize. We didn't really communicate. And then we come out of that. And now we don't know how to socialize. We don't know how to communicate, right? It's also awkward again. And I think now is the time to really, take note of your friends and your support systems. And if you don't have any right around you, find them. Right? You just talked about moving, right? You're moving. So you're now probably in a stage where you're developing new friendships and new neighbors and all the things. We need to, as a society, get back to leaning on the support systems around us to help us get through these challenges and not to be ashamed of it and not to, anxiety, worry, fear, bullying. It's all so prevalent today. And I think if we all rise together and stand up, it's a powerful tool. It's a really powerful tool.
Well, and I find that, I moved, and as I said before we went live, like I feel like it's a whole new chapter, but I feel very observant because I'm in this, again, new place that I've been in this community, but I didn't spend a whole lot of time in this town. I'd come in, maybe go to a cool restaurant and then go back home. But now I'm so observant because I'm looking around going, oh, well, maybe, and I've kind of set a goal. Like I want to go check out, I could drive back and get my nails done with my favorite nail gal. I could get my hair cut, but like I'm putting myself in here in this community. So
you're a local now, right? You're not a visitor, you're a local.
Right. But I also like when I meet people, when I'm walking the dog, when I walk Ruby, then it's like, oh, hi. And oh, where do you live? Because I'm new. Like, it's like, I'm new. And like, people are like friendly. They're like, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. I mean, this is a really nice area. So, it's like, welcome to the neighborhood. And oh, that's great. And so
that's
I say that because, I'm just using that as because I want to get to know people. I want to get to know the area and I feel like I'm settled. But I also am observing that people just don't do that. Like people don't, like they don't have to say that they're new in the area, but people don't say hello to each other. We walk by each other and we're stuck on our phones or we're like just not paying attention. And it's like, can we just look up and just say, hi, how you doing today? Like
we become a society of antisocial people. Yeah. We feel safer at home, behind a Zoom call. It's funny because I work in Manhattan and the city has really been empty for years because people are still working from home. Well, this year they're saying, okay, time to go back to the office. Everybody's coming back to the office and people are really miserable and uncomfortable with it. And I think, God, I work in retail and I work in stores. So I've always been out and about, but I think you need to get around people. You need to socialize. It is so healthy to engage with other people, to listen to other opinions without anger or without, fear or anything, to just really have healthy conversations, celebrate differences, like all the things that you wouldn't do if you're sitting home alone working behind a computer screen.
Right.
So people are coming back out, but then of course, other challenges emerge, right? So I think as a society, and not just us as adults, think of children who spent the pandemic in high school, right? Where that's like the formation of your social skills when you're in high school, and they've been handicapped by that.
Right.
So,
it's, again, I'm a 60-year-old woman who's like confident. I'm walking around saying hello to everybody. I don't really care, what anybody thinks of me. It's taken me a long time to get past all that. But, it's hard. Our daughter lives with us. She's in a great place. She has a job and she's 25. Like I joined the Geneva Women's Club last night. She goes, maybe I should join the Women's Club because she's looking for friends. Like how do people find friends? And again, just that's how do you find friends if you haven't gone to college or if you haven't gone to the trade school or if you're not, and it's like, it can be tough for all of us, but like for these young adults that were, like you said, stuck inside for maybe their college years or the high school years, and they're just kind of handicapped. And like Anna's looking around like, I don't know, where am I going to find friends? But, the message here, part of the message today I want to be is like, just again, it can be as simple as just saying hello to somebody and how are you doing? And, tell me about this, or tell me about your shop, or tell me about whatever. Brought to you by Gorski Wellness and the possibility of a better you. Are you feeling sluggish? Ready for a change? Need more energy? Up for a bigger challenge? I'm Moyra Gorski, retired nurse and wellness advocate. For over 22 years, I've been helping people live healthier lives while making small changes each and every day. Those small changes lead my clients to living a healthier lifestyle with markedly better health. As a brand ambassador for the Shaklee Corporation, the most clinically proven wellness company in the world, I guide my clients to make healthier choices each day with their food, supplements, skincare, workouts, and mindset. They say getting started is half the battle. Let's make healthy happen together. If you're ready for simple, natural, sustainable solutions to feeling and looking your best, let's connect. You'll find a link in the show notes or reach out to me at moyragorski.com. Here's to a better you.
To actually ask people how they are doing seems to be something that we haven't done in a long time. Like, hey, how are you? Right? Even to just pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you doing? But I agree that when you move and you're changed, locations and all that, finding friends can be a big challenge. But I love what you said, that it took me a long time to get here because we're the same age, right? Yeah. So I think all of a sudden, and it took me a long time to get here because I work in an environment where it's all about superficial, all about how you look, right? So that was really the spawn of my brand, Love How Good You Feel, because it's all about how you feel to me. I don't care how you look. If you feel good, you look good, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the other way around. You don't have to look good to feel good. If you feel good, you will look good. Your eyes will sparkle. You'll be happy. You'll have the energy, all the things. But I just think that, loving how good you feel and feeling good, having confidence in yourself shouldn't take us till we're 60 to get there, right? Mm-hmm. We should have that in the younger years. And how do you teach, young adults, children, even people who are, in the baby stage where they're having babies and things like that? Like, how do you teach people to go beyond what's really happening there and not worry about what people think of you and know that there's greater things on the other side of fear, right? Mm-hmm. The best things in life happen on the other side of fear. Right. So if you hold your back, you'll never get anywhere, right?
Well, and I think that that's why these are such powerful books, is that it's again about kids, but it's about what we all go through. Again, we get wrapped up in this fear. We get worried about the future. We don't appreciate where we're at today and what we have. And so then that stops us. That stops us from moving forward in our career, moving forward with a relationship. We are often, some people are bullied by their husband, sure. Bullied by their siblings or their bosses or like their friends or whatever. And they don't, kind of like you said, they don't love themselves enough to feel like they're worth it, to stand up for themselves and say, okay, that's really not acceptable, the way that you're speaking with me or whatever. But again, we're wrapped up in fear. We're wrapped up in worry. I know all about that. Like I would, a few years ago, worry about like, are we going to move? What's, my husband's business was, kind of in turmoil during the pandemic. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when the kids leave? And it's just him and I. But I found that if I spent too much time in the future worrying, it just ruined today. And so I kind of like, tell myself, I just kind of put my blinders on to that, but that kind of seems, again, so like myopic, but it's like, no, but I put the blinders on, but I also sit here and I trust where I'm at and I'm grateful for where I'm at. And I trust the flow of the universe, that the future is going to take care of itself. Things will. You don't
have to worry about every little detail. And I think we all do it. I mean, I am probably one of the worst worriers out there. I worry about everything, right? I do. And I overplan, I overthink. And then exactly what you said, I destroy the moment of right now where I should be celebrating. Wow, I had this cool new thing happening. I should be super excited. Don't worry about every detail on how you're going to get there. You have to have some trust and confidence in that it's going to happen naturally. It will. Of course, it's going to take work and effort. There's no question, but you can't kill the joy. So, at the end of all the books, Rocky ultimately finds joy. And that's why I love your podcast, because I love that the journey to joy is what we all seek, but we get stuck and we have these blockers, and we really hurt ourselves in the journey because we're thinking about everything that could go wrong or everything that is wrong, instead of, of course, the glass half empty, half full thing, right? But the glass always has water in it, whether it's half empty or half full, there's always, water in it. So right. To always kind of see what is the best scenario, what could be the best thing that can happen. And, listen, I'm not saying people don't have real problems. Of course, there are real problems out there today. But I think if we constantly focus on the negativity and the downside of it, we'll never experience that joy. We're holding ourselves back.
Right. So, right. And again, we're very similar in that I know that we're the go-getters, we're the moving forward, when we're making the plans or we're doing all the things. And I know from my life, again, as I said before we went live, this year, has been a little tumultuous for me. And, I set a goal at the beginning of the year that I wanted to sell our house and I wanted to move. And I also had all these other plans to do all these other things. Yeah. And the universe and God and whatever you want to call it just kept telling me, just be right where you're at. Take care of yourself every single day and pack up your house and get rid of things and find a new house. That's what I was needing to do at that time. And it was kind of like, okay, but I want to do all this. I have all these other ideas for cancer prevention stuff and all this. I'm like, and it was just like, nope, just be right here. And like I said, once I got to this house, I've been here for 2 weeks and I'm just like, wow, it feels like things are starting to flow, because guess what? I put all of that stuff behind me. I did those things. And now I have this opportunity to meet new people and to start a new flow of my life. And it feels so good and exciting. I remember back in the beginning of the year, I was just feeling, it's so frustrating. I wish this was happening. But I needed to be, just like you said, be there, be grateful for what you have, and follow what you're supposed to be kind of following that day. And the rest will come. If we can be present with today.
I love that you've been there 2 weeks and you're joining groups and all the things. That is where you find friends. I would never have become your friend if I didn't join the organization that we're a part of, right? I've met so many friends there, and they're real genuine friends because we share that common goal. And I love that. But it is hard, when you're moving and all the things, to find, organizations that you align with and all the things like that. But I really believe coping skills comes from having that confidence, going out and saying, I don't really care. Whatever happens, happens, right? Only good things will come if you just take that risk and go for it. So, but being younger, finding friends is always a harder thing. I remember when I went to college in Europe, and I remember going over there and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't feel I felt like an alien. I didn't have any way. And to this day, which is so fun because I've been out of college, oh my gosh, 40 years.
Long time.
I have a friend that we're still pen pals, and we actually write letters to each other. She's in London, I'm here, and we've never done Facebook with each other. We've never done texting. It's always a handwritten note, usually a little trinket, a gift that we send each other at Christmas time and things like that. But it's true friendship that we kindled together so many years ago. And I love that. Tell each other everything. It's the safe place where we can write on paper all our challenges. She's had challenges with her daughter with heart conditions and all the things in life that happened to us over the years. And her friendship means a lot to me because I always knew that was a safe place. I could tell her anything. She would never judge me. Yeah. So, and I think if you present yourself, that's what I find so much about our friendship, is that we can tell each other things and we're not going to judge each other. And I think if you kind of stand back and you open yourself up to really accepting other people and their differences, people feel that energy, and it attracts more people to you that, either want support or want friendship or whatever it may be. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way as we kind of wrap this up. I mean, you're looking at fear, anxiety, bullying, a lot of times we have those because again, we're being it's about the other person, right? We're feeling that they don't accept us, or they're being mean to us, or it's like but when we can start to realize that, yeah, it's maybe their issues and maybe their things. And like, what can we do? We can just take care of ourselves. We can show up a certain way. We can be honest with ourselves. We can be open to other people. That's what I've learned, that, again, even though I'm married and I'm a mother and all of that, like at the end of the day, that's all I got. And so I got to take care of me. I got to show up. Like, how do I want to show up? How do I want to be in this world as Moyra Gorski? Yes, I'm married and I have kids and all that, but how do I, at the end of the day, it's all I got is me. So and if I can, the more that I focus, on me and what I need and make, all that, then those other things, the fear of what they're going to say, what are they going to think when I go to that store? It doesn't matter, because I'm feeling good. And again, it's taken me a long time to
exactly. I think the number one
in my own skin, but
yep. And when, like, if I even break it down to like my dog, who the book is about, she sends off signals to other dogs, and she gets bullied by other dogs because she immediately becomes this weak, insecure when she sees other dogs. And I'm like, come on, Rocky, overcome your fears. And then a ball enters the picture, or some toy, and then all of a sudden she's a different dog, and she loves that other dog. So it's all about the energy that we put out. And when we attract it back in. So, just the way you present yourself matters so much. It really does. And it takes a long time to figure that out, and it shouldn't. I really wish I would have learned some of these lessons earlier in life.
But what a great gift. I mean, what a great gift you're giving to others. I'm sure that you probably don't say in the beginning, like, Rocky's working on the law of attraction, but because some people don't really understand that, but you just explained it so perfectly. We have this, like, when we are in a good space and we feel good about each other, and we don't cower when we're around other people, like, we give off good energy. And so other people are attracted to us. That's what the law of attraction is all about. You don't have to get so weird, spiritual down into this rabbit hole, that some people are like, oh, it's the law of attraction. What is that weird stuff? But it's simple like that. Like, and again, you throw a ball in, like, that's why, like, you go to a dance class, you go to a painting class, you go to a yoga class, you have this commonality that you all love, and all of a sudden it's
okay. Right.
It's okay.
Because you got rid of the fear and the worry and the anxiety. It all disappears because of this distraction that is really just joy, right? It's joy. It's however you find your joy, find it, and other things will be attracted to you and that joy. And because you are a happy person, right? And I don't mean to coin that phrase, oh, be happy, but do things that make you feel good. Be selfish. I say that all the time. Be selfish. Do things that make you feel good, and you will attract other people to that same vibe that you have. No question about it. But that's always been a challenge, I think, for everyone that I talk to about these books. But I'll tell you a real quick story about a kid who I do book signings, right? And it's a beach town in Ocean City, New Jersey. And I do these little book signings at this bookstore. And this little boy, couldn't have been older than 4.5, comes up and he says, "Where's Rocky?" I said, "Oh gosh, Rocky's not here today. Rocky's getting old, so I don't bring her till." So I called my husband and I said, "Joe, bring Rocky up." While we were waiting, his grandmother told a story that he has been very sad and doesn't have a lot of friends. And, he got the Rocky book and he identified with Rocky as his friend. So much so that the grandmother said he made her drive him to the beach. That's on the cover of the book. And they sat there all day and waited to meet Rocky. Aww. And I thought to myself, wow, Rocky really not only touched him, of course, with the messaging in the book, but that was his friend. And that's what pulled him out of kind of his depression or whatever it may be as a 4-year-old, his sadness. And then Rocky came, and of course he had all this joy, and it was so great. Yeah. But I thought it was bigger than just the book. I thought to myself, Rocky, the law of attraction, the ability to have friendship and kinship and all the things that we do as supporting each other. So it lit this kid up, and the grandmother was like, "We are so grateful for these books." And I thought, wow, that's really big for something I would have thought. And here, this little 4-year-old, as soon as Rocky came, it was like he was seeing some superstar,
Yeah. Well, and I have to tell you, there was a I don't know, maybe it was called Bully, but there was some movie several years ago when my now 21-year-old was in fourth grade. And we just happened to, like, we were waiting for dinner to be ready or something like that. And we decided for some reason, my daughter and Tommy and I, we would watch the movie. And it was good. It was a really good movie. I think it was called The Bully. I don't know. Again, it was a long time ago. But it showed these different experiences with, bullies and people being bullied. And it was, a little bit like a documentary type of thing. So great movie, finished it up, had dinner and stuff. We were sitting outside. It was in the springtime or something like that. And my son, who was in fourth grade, he came up to me and he told me about a kid at school that had been bullying him.
Really?
And, yeah. And I say that because we don't know the power of what we do. You wrote a book and like all of a sudden this 4-year-old, all of a sudden I watched this movie and our son came up and I was able to take care of that. And then he was afraid. He's like, no, you can't tell the teacher. You can't tell the teacher because, and then he was afraid of the bully. And I'm like, no, we're going to go to the teacher. And I know it really impacted him. The next year I went and I talked to the principal and his new teacher. And I said, listen, this kid is still here. And I want you to know what happened. Like I was able to advocate for my son. But again, he had been bullied and he was so afraid. And it was this stupid kid. Whatever. Again, the kid who was troubled, I'm sure. But he would follow him into the bathroom and mess him up, just throw him against the wall or whatever when he came out of the bathroom. But it was, again, the power of that movie. It's the power of your book. I had a gentleman call me who told me that he shared he had been interviewed on my podcast and he shared that story with somebody that was in jail. And I was in tears when he was telling me, he's like, oh my God, you changed this guy's life and you gave him hope because of what you're doing. So again, let's know that like what we do every day has an impact with people. People watch us, they are attracted to us, they follow what we do. And if we think that like, oh, that doesn't make a difference to say hello to somebody when you're walking down the street, or say, wow, this is a really cute shop. I've never seen a shop like this. Or, oh, I love your yoga practice. Or, wow, you have a nice porch. Whatever. It can seem like so simple, but it can make a huge impact, on somebody's life.
Exactly right. And talking about things and bringing things to life, because would your son have ever brought that up if he didn't, so to know that it is safe to talk about and it's okay. It's okay. We all have these feelings, right? We're all human. We all have these feelings, but the way that we, react to things are always going to happen to us. It's just the way we react to things. And that's so hard to change. That's not an easy thing. It's so hard to change. And that's why you need support from your friends around you and all the things. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that we had this conversation today. It's so always great to chat with you. Where can people find you? Where can people find the books if they want to get a copy of your Rocky books?
Thank you for that. DeirdrePalmadams.com is my website. All the books are available there. They're also available on Amazon and major booksellers everywhere. So Target.com, Barnes & Noble, all the things. But go to my website because we have a cute little blog about Rocky, and Rocky will continue to help adults and children alike to overcome fears, anxiety, worry, all the things. Her adventures will continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I just love that. So thank you for being here today. Again, just great messaging and a great conversation. And again, I hope that you that are listening just know that, again, the reality is, yes, we have fears, we have anxiety, we have things that get in our way, but, finding, I think, like you said, Deirdre, finding support, finding a friend, even if it's finding a dog. Getting, I'm a huge proponent of, I was going to say, like, Ruby, who is our current dog, we've had her for a little over a year now. And I know that she found us. There is no doubt that she found us. She came up from Texas. We live in Illinois. We decided to foster her, but truly, she came into our home. The Mary Ann brought her up and brought her into our home, and we said hello to Ruby, and I did. And then my daughter was there, and and Anna called Ruby and went over to Anna. And then I was like, okay, Ruby, come back here. And I'll never forget it to this day. She looked at me and she's like, no, I'm here. I came for her. It was so it was just an incredible thing. And again, for our daughter, again, if you followed my podcast, you know her journey. And I just did the episode a couple before this, again, was an interview with Anna, how that love of that dog that found her, it changed the trajectory of her life and really put her on a very strong path, a stronger path in her recovery journey. And
absolutely
really incredible. Yeah.
I always say that dogs, you can learn a lot from your dog, right? Of course, they're our best friends, but they provide unconditional love and joy, consistent joy, right? It's amazing. So go get a dog. I always say that, or a cat, or any type of pet that you want, but having that kinship with another, animal that just doesn't judge you for anything. They just unconditionally love you. It's the best feeling on earth. So we should learn from that, and we should do the same for our friends and family, right?
That's right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Deirdre. Thanks for everybody for listening. Again, please share this with others so that they can hear these powerful messages too. And it's all about, the journey of joy. And remember, joy is the journey of you. So get on your journey of you, find the things that bring you joy, and then we can live our best lives. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Hey there, ready to live a more joyful life? Considering connecting with someone who can help you? If so, I'd like to be that person. I offer a free consultation where we determine where the chaos is in your life and how you can learn to bring more joy each and every day. Visit my website, moyragorski.com, or simply email me, moyra@moyragorski.com, with more joy in the subject line. I look forward to connecting, and I'm here to say there will always be some chaos, which requires a little juggling, but you can find joy and live your life intentionally filled with that joy. Let me help you on your journey to joy. And that's joy, the journey of you.